All right, so there's a new technology bubbling up in labs right now that you need to know about. And look, this isn't just another small upgrade. We're talking about a massive shift in how we see and interact with the world. It's called quantum sensing. And believe me, it is about to change, well, pretty much everything.
Just let that sink in for a minute. Seeing through walls, around corners, even sensing the tiny electrical sparks from your own heart or brain, from across a room. This sounds like something straight out of a comic book, right? But it's not. This is the real deal, the actual promise of quantum sensors. The power we're talking about here is just, wow, it's on a whole other level.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? Whenever a technology this powerful comes along, you've got this razor-thin line between a tool that can save lives and a weapon that could destroy our freedoms. So that's the big question we're tackling today. Is this a superpower that's going to build a better future for all of us? Or is it a threat that could completely wipe out privacy as we know it?
Okay, so to figure that out, we've got to get into how this stuff actually works. And hey, don't sweat it. I promise you won't need a physics degree for this part. We're going to break it down. So what is quantum sensing really? Well, at its core, it's all about using the super weird, kind of magical rules of the quantum world, the world of atoms and tiny particles, to measure the big world around us. See, instead of waiting for a big, loud signal, these devices are designed to be incredibly, well, fragile. They're so sensitive that the absolute tiniest disturbance, like a whisper in a hurricane, can be detected. That fragility is their strength.
Okay, so let's break down the difference because this is key. Think about the sensors we have now, like in your phone. They're always fighting against this background static or thermal noise, basically the random wiggling of atoms that drowns out really faint signals. It's like trying to hear a pin drop during a rock concert. But quantum sensors, they completely sidestep that problem. They're not listening for the shout, they're built to hear the whisper. They can pick up on the tiniest movements of a single atom, giving us a level of precision we literally thought was impossible until now.
And how do they pull this off? Well, they've got this amazing quantum toolkit. First up is superposition. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. It's not heads or tails. It's kind of both at once. That in-between state is super sensitive. Then there's entanglement, which Einstein called spooky action at a distance. You link two particles, and whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. It's like they're connected by an invisible thread. Finally, you use quantum interference to measure tiny, tiny changes by watching how these quantum waves overlap. Put it all together, and that's the secret sauce. That's what gives these sensors their superpowers.
So, with a superpower like this, what kind of world can we build? Let's talk about the good stuff, because honestly, the potential here is absolutely staggering. Let's dive into the promise of seeing what was once totally unseen. Okay, picture this. You're a pilot flying through a massive storm, or maybe you're navigating a submarine deep in the ocean. Normally, you'd rely on GPS, right? But what if that signal gets jammed or just isn't available? Well, with quantum sensors, you wouldn't need it. You could navigate by reading the Earth's own gravity or magnetic field, like a natural, built-in map. We're talking about navigation that is totally unjammable and always on. For anyone who flies a plane, sails a ship, or drives a truck, this is a total game changer.
Or how about this? A firefighter rushes into a burning building, but it's completely filled with thick black smoke. They can't see a thing. But what if they had a device that used quantum imaging? They could literally see through the smoke and locate people trapped inside. This isn't just a cool gadget. This could be the difference between life and death. It would completely revolutionize how we do search and rescue.
And in medicine, the possibilities are just as mind-blowing. Imagine a doctor being able to monitor your heart or your brain activity without ever touching you. No wires, no sticky pads. They could do it from across the room, just by picking up on the super faint electromagnetic fields your body naturally gives off. This could lead to way earlier diagnoses and healthcare that's tailored specifically to you, 24/7.
This tech could even keep our cities safer. Special quantum sensors called gravimeters can detect incredibly small changes in gravity. What does that mean? It means they could spot a dangerous sinkhole forming under a street before it collapses. Or they could find a hidden stress fracture in a bridge that no one can see. We're talking about preventing disasters and building safer roads and bridges for all of us.
Okay, but here's the turn. Every single one of those amazing, life-saving abilities has a dark side. A really dark side. Because let's be real, a sensor that can see through smoke can also see right through the walls of your house. And a device that can monitor your heartbeat to keep you healthy can also monitor you for surveillance.
This quote right here, it nails the problem. We've always relied on physical things for privacy, right? Walls, doors, curtains. But this technology just erases them. It makes them meaningless. What we're talking about is a threat to our most basic expectation of privacy, the ability to just be in your own space, unobserved.
And you can already see how this could be abused. Here's the playbook. First, you put hidden sensors everywhere. They don't send out any signals, they just listen. Second, they capture your unique biometric fingerprint, say the specific rhythm of your heartbeat. Third, you feed all that data to an AI that can pick you out of a crowd. And the final step? That AI analyzes your patterns to predict what you'll do next. This is the recipe for a surveillance state some are calling the quantum panopticon.
You know, our laws are just not ready for this. In the United States, the Fourth Amendment is supposed to protect you from unreasonable searches. There was a big Supreme Court case that said police can't use a thermal camera to scan your house without a warrant. But that was because the camera was actively scanning the home. What happens when a sensor is just passively listening to stuff that's already passing through your walls anyway? It creates this huge legal gray area. Our laws are based on the idea of someone physically crossing a line, but this tech doesn't need to cross any lines at all.
So I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, this is scary, but it's all sci-fi, right? Decades away? Nope, not at all. The move from lab experiment to real-world deployment is happening as we speak.
Yeah, this timeline is surprisingly fast. We already have early quantum tech on the market today. But look at the next few years. In just 3 to 8 years, we're expecting to see those gravimeters I mentioned being used out in the field. And in just over 5 years, we're looking at military systems that can see through fog and foliage. This is not some distant future.
And this isn't just a forecast. This is real. Companies you can look up right now, like Sandbox AQ and QCTRL, are already working with the military. They've tested these new navigation systems on actual aircraft. The tech works. It's getting ready for prime time. And that means we're already late to the game on figuring out the rules for it. So that brings us right here to this critical moment, a quantum crossroads. We have a choice to make, and we have to make it soon. The decisions we make in the next few years are going to decide if this technology empowers us or controls us. So what do we do about it? Well, the good news is people are thinking about solutions. We need to update our laws, for starters. Make it crystal clear that seeing through a wall is a search that needs a warrant, maybe even a super warrant with a higher bar to clear. We have to demand that companies build privacy protections into these devices from the ground up, not as an afterthought. And really important, local communities should have the power to say yes or no to their police departments using this stuff. It all comes down to transparency and control. And, building this future the right way also means we need a totally new kind of workforce. This isn't just a job for quantum physicists anymore. We're going to need engineers for sure, but we'll also need AI experts who can make sense of all the data. And, critically, we need philosophers, ethicists, and policy experts sitting at the table from day one asking the tough questions. It's this mix of skills that will let us build a world we actually want to live in, not one we stumble into by accident.
So here we are. We are building technology that can see the unseeable. It can peer through walls, through smoke, even through skin. The real question is no longer about what we can see. The question we all have to answer is, what will we choose not to look at? Because the power to see everything is coming. But the wisdom to look away, that has to come from us.